Good afternoon, this is Darren Crawley here at Ascari in the United Kingdom. I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, which is focusing on the increasing demand of SAP Business One customers for their systems to be deployed in the cloud, and more significantly, how Cloud4Partners, cutting edge Amazon Web Services cloud hosting service can help partners that are new to the cloud marketplace to win more business and make their customers happier and more content through the benefits of this deployment model. I'm Darren Crawley. I'm the Partner Account Manager for Cloud4Partners globally, and it's a pleasure to introduce both myself and our company to you today. It's very much a high-level view of both our company, the service, and more specifically how our cloud offering helps provide advantage for you in your local marketplace. So as you can see from the agenda today, we'll work through some very simple points about who we are and what we do. Like I say, how Cloud4Partners itself works as a service to the B1 partner community. We'll evaluate why customers are increasingly asking for cloud as the deployment model of choice for their B1 systems, as well as looking at the key benefits of working with Ascari and Cloud4Partners. So first and foremost, I've mentioned Ascari is the name of our company. We were established back in 2012 and became an SAP Business One Gold partner in our domestic marketplace in the United Kingdom in 2013. Since that point, right from the very first day, we have always focused on the deployment of SAP Business One as a cloud-first software and system model. So that makes us rather unique, both in terms of our own domestic marketplace, where historically, and even to today, the current situation is that a large proportion of SAP resellers will still defer to positioning Business One as an on-premise model. So we're quite unique in our domestic marketplace. We've been doing cloud deployment of SAP Business One since 2013. So we have a long history of competency and expertise in delivering SAP Business One in the cloud. As a result of that, we were approached by many of our competitors in our UK market very early on to actually host customers of theirs, and this led to the creation of the Cloud4Partners hosting service, which was launched internationally at the SMB Innovation Summit in Barcelona in April 2018. And that's when I came into the business, very much to act as the point of reference for any partners anywhere in the world who may have questions about how our service works and how it can actually benefit them and enable them to win more business. So we're very much offering a best-in-class cloud hosting service here, largely because when you look at our proposition, there are two key elements. Firstly, we know SAP Business One inside out. We're a gold partner. We actually sell it ourselves in the UK. But more significantly, we are also a certified AWS partner. And what that means is we have engineers and technical staff who know AWS inside out. And what that means is you can be assured that we have the ability to deliver expertise and knowledge and a reliable and scalable service that actually serves both the ERP component and the cloud hosting component to the best of our capabilities. It's the best of both worlds. So looking at how Cloud4Partners works, it's very much a layered approach. We have all of the data stored in AWS in a virtual environment. But in terms of Cloud4Partners, we have our own intellectual property and capabilities for integration of the SAP Business One technology into that world-class cloud hosting environment. Moreover, because we've actually done deployments in the real world for countless customers, what it enables us to do is also perform sophisticated and complex integration projects involving many of the leading third-party applications that enable SAP Business One to offer a full functionality to end customers, whether that's BAS in manufacturing, or Progimex in warehouse management, or Sana in e-commerce. All of these leading add-ons for SAP Business One have actually been deployed for customers in a real cloud deployment situation. Obviously, the reason why we're looking at cloud today is because increasingly customers are demanding cloud as the point of delivery for their systems. Depending on where you are, excuse me, depending on where you are in the world, some markets are more mature and ready to take on cloud. But the overall global trend is moving towards cloud deployment first. And there's a number of reasons for that. Firstly, customers are demanding it. It's an extension of people's consumer habits. Many areas of the world now see people using smartphone technology. And if you look at things like iCloud for Apple, or indeed Netflix or Amazon, many of these applications are actually cloud-centric. You don't store data locally on your mobile phone, and increasingly people are now looking at their computers and saying, I want something that's basically thin client. Everything is stored in the cloud. So that's becoming more and more as a given, not just in people's consumer activities, but also in their business activities day to day. More significantly as well, the vendors are now driving this momentum forwards. So I mentioned the Innovation Summit where we launched nearly 2 years ago now in Barcelona. Every keynote speaker for SAP at that event was telling the partner network, you must now propose SAP Business One in the cloud first. You can't keep hitting the default switch and deploying on-premise. And that's keeping up with technology trends. Everybody now is looking at cloud first delivery for all sorts of systems and software products, and ERP, and specifically SAP Business One, is no different. When people ask why cloud is relevant, these words frequently come up from both customers and the partners who serve them. It really is a case of a simple model that's both secure but also scalable. It's relevant to users today, and more importantly, you can deploy so much more quickly and respond to changes in the customer's environment very, very quickly as well. And that's a key differentiator. And when we talk of differentiation, this is important. Whether you're competing as an SAP Business One partner against other ERP solutions, whether we're talking about NetSuite or Dynamics, any of those products, it's vital that you can actually say to your customer, we have a number of compelling reasons why you should choose SAP Business One in the cloud. Speed of deployment is very, very relevant, not necessarily today or immediately, but the world is changing. People expect things to be done instantaneously and to be always on. So our speed of deployment is key. We can actually set up a multi-tenant user of SAP Business One or multiple users in the same day on our standard multi-tenant platform. And if you're looking at a situation where a dedicated solution is provided for a complex deployment, with tens of users or hundreds of users, we can build that environment from scratch in 1 working week for you. It's a low-cost entry model. So for multi-tenant, it's a per user per month monthly cost with no additional add-ons or extras. So it's a nice, simple model. If we're doing a dedicated solution hosting service for you, then that is simply a per month fee for the service. There is no setup costs, there are no design fees, there are no costs to be a partner with us. We basically give you a simple model, and it's all done on a transactional basis. Moreover, because of the technology we're providing, which is the combination of both Business One and AWS, we've actually got world-leading cloud technology available for you to promote to your customers, and that shouldn't be underestimated. It's a very powerful brand. Having SAP on AWS being in front of your customers and saying this is where your system will be really is a leading shout in terms of promoting the reliability and the capabilities of your solution proposition. And we're always committed to innovation here at Ascari. So the vast majority of people who work for the business are actually technical staff, not sales staff, not marketing staff. They know Business One and AWS inside out. And we're always committed to innovation as a result of that. So there are countless examples where we've created new elements to the service or new components when it comes to the deployment model. And one example of that is actually in the way we're actually refreshing and updating the architecture that we build the systems on. We're now coming into what we call architecture 3.0, where a lot of the work we do can actually be automated, and that again enables us to increase speed of deployment times and responsiveness to customer needs. And like I say, you have access to a unique set of experts within the business, and we're always available to answer your questions. As I mentioned already, predictable and flexible billing is a real key here in terms of assuring customers that what they see is what they get and they're happy with that. There are no upfront costs, and billing can be accommodated monthly, quarterly, or annually, depending on the needs of the customer. What we do, by the way, is we bill to partners rather than to the end customer, and that's quite important as well. But going back to the argument about on-premise versus cloud, it's clear that there are a number of major advantages to moving to the cloud now, one of which is to do with the consumption-based model of cloud. We're talking about utilizing resources when they're needed and only adding to those resources at the time that they're required. So there's no waste. If you look at, for instance, a HANA deployment model on-premise, you have a specification for a HANA box, which is assuming a certain amount of usage at the end of year 3. Now, in the first 1 or 2 years of the business using SAP Business One, it may well be that the company gets nowhere near the amount of resource that's required to actually deploy that HANA box on-premise. So with cloud, you just pay for what you use and then you scale up. And that is much more economical, both for the customer and also for the partner. And there's a compelling total cost of ownership model. We have a line-by-line cost comparison available to our partner community, where you can compare hidden costs for on-premise. The assumption that just because you pay for a server, there's no additional costs beyond that, is a false premise, because you have staffing costs for the system administrator, electricity to run the equipment, air conditioning, and environmental costs, insurance, support and maintenance. You have to pay for a break fix contract, and the quicker the response times on that, the more expensive it is per month. So all of these additional costs are actually always carrying on into year 1, year 2, year 3, even if you paid a significant amount for that server in the first place. With AWS and cloud, everything is included in your monthly fee. And we see it very much as a journey. When the initial build takes place, remember, we don't charge any setup fees or design fees. We create the service unit that's relevant to your customer. Once that's up and running, we charge a monthly fee. And during the course of that time that the customer is using Business One, over 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you'll find they'll have changing needs. They may wish to add additional resources or amend the key components of their service unit. Those key components being the database itself, we provide HANA and SQL, the application server that enables integration into other products, and the presentation server, which enables the users to access the system. With all 3 of those core components, we have t-shirt sized options available from small, medium, large, and extra large. And that's based on various specifications to do with the number of virtual CPUs, memory, root space, data storage, backup, all that good stuff. You can define very precisely what it is that the customer actually needs today and deploy that, but when you actually move on into the future, you can actually change and shape the environment with the minimum of downtime. And there's always ongoing monitoring and support as well, and this is really important. So AWS has CloudWatch, which is an automated monitoring system. If any of those core components or resources are coming towards their full capacity, we get automatic notifications. So we can tell you, the partner, that a database is becoming close to its full capacity, and it may be that you need to change it from a small to a medium HANA database. The beauty of that is that that can actually be done in advance before any problems arise. So there's no downtime and no panic having to fix the problem once it's already in play. We can avoid problems proactively, and that's really important from a customer experience perspective. As I've mentioned already, we offer a complete design and build service as part of our service to partners. There's no extra costs for that. And in addition as well, if we use the analogy here of creating a brand new skyscraper, the other thing as well is that we offer facilities management once the building is up and running. So that's also included in your monthly fee. It's as secure as you can get because it's AWS. Let's face it, we have a global business that invests very heavily in security, so you're getting the best available security for your customers' data. And also compliance is key. AWS is compliant with all global regulations, whether that's GDPR in the EU or the new American data regulations and laws that have come out in the early part of this year. Wherever you are in the world, you can be assured AWS is compliant with your regulatory authorities. And this is how we will work together with our partners. If you have any projects where you feel our input can add value, we'll always have a discussion around the customer requirements, recommend appropriate build specifications, and then quote a price to you. Once we get the order, we agree a build and launch date, and then we deploy the system for your customer. And we always have an ongoing account manager to answer any questions and to help with any further questions moving forwards. We're a relatively small company, just under 20 staff here in the UK across 2 offices, but we have a global reach. And that global reach is largely because we work with AWS. We have several data centers available throughout the world, and those data centers are growing as we speak. And there are a number of key questions that do come to us from our partners, largely to do with the ability to get a new system set up, migration from on-premise to the cloud, licensing, and also having more than one database available. That's quite important, as I'm aware that a number of our competitors will actually charge for additional databases, which, let's face it, companies will usually have several databases, maybe for different branches or regions. And also, everybody has to have a test database. So it's almost inevitable that extra charges can be incurred when using some of our competitor propositions. Frequency of backups we take very seriously. It's very important that if there is any issues surrounding the Business One system, business as usual can be established as quickly as possible. And also, we don't actually have a minimum contract duration. So in terms of our service, it's basically a consumption model. You can jump on and jump off. All we ask is that in multi-tenant standard, you give us 30 days notice, and in a dedicated scenario, you give us 90 days notice. We have the ability very shortly to provide the latest version 10 of SAP Business One. And we also have the ability to enable partners to have full access to the system when it's a dedicated service, or if you utilize one of our newer and innovative services called Multi-Tenant Professional. If you have any questions about that, please do approach me after today's presentation. And if there are any further questions, I will open up the audience now. Okay, I have no questions immediately, but if there are any questions off the back of today's presentation, then please do email Darren, D-A-R-R-E-N .Crawley, C-R-A-W-L-E-Y @ascari.com. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.